Switzerland is moving forward.
So what Sweden has done is Sweden kind of enacted a different law. They kind of made it harder for people to identify, especially younger people.
Oh, this is great.
What Sweden did was Sweden enacted a law that says if you're under the age of 15, you can come out. We don't care if you come out, but there's nothing you can do about it. You can't, I don't care if you go to a doctor and say gender dysphoria. We don't care if you go to a doctor and say, yes, you identify as male or female. You can't do anything about it. You can't take testosterone, you can't take estrogen, no suppressants, no nothing.
Yeah.
And that may be from a medical standpoint where the body is still growing. However, it is definitely regressive versus progressive.
Yeah, but that draws in the question of what is the correct age to allow that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know someone who started at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
That is honestly not something I would go with, even being young and transitioning.
Okay.
I think I came out and transitioned at, I'd say, the perfect time. Roughly.
I agree. It was a good age.
The 13, 10, 11, 12 to 13.
Well,
wherever that was.
You mentally, for you, came out at that age, but as far as medication and starting the process, you were 14.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's perfect. 14, you're responsible enough, mostly, to understand what you're doing,
mm-hmm.
how to not abuse it, and how to stay safe while doing it.
All right, so I do want to point out, because again, this is opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Not all 14-year-olds are of the same maturity.
I know.
Okay? We are not going to go into baby elephant mode.
We don't you dare. I heard about that. I haven't heard it, but I heard about it.
Uh-huh. Leo has a small group of friends from school on Discord, and they get the podcast like the night it's posted. I mean, they actually look for it, and I know that they listen to it. It's actually kind of funny.
I had a friend stay up till 2:30 in the morning.
His time.
He's in our time zone.
Oh, okay.
Different state, same time zone.
Okay.
And I'm calling him out.
Okay.
You know who you are.
Just to listen to the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. 2:30 in the morning just to listen to Leo and me talk about baby elephant syndrome.
When he had school the next week.
Where are his parents?
We're not talking to his parents for reasons.
Okay. So, yeah, when it comes to that time frame, I think it's more about maturity level than age.
Yeah.
So I don't know necessarily if I agree with 14 or 15 or, in some cases, let's say 20.
Mm-hmm.
Because it mentality-wise, maturity-wise, it varies.
Yeah. And same thing of drinking, smoking.
Right. Agreed.
How old you are to play with an Ouija board.
No Ouija boards. That's a completely different topic. Where did that even come from? Okay. Exactly.
Don't ask questions.
Don't ask, don't tell. That's the rule in the house. All right. So, again, Sweden made this rule. Sweden made this rule, and then said that not only can you not begin, testosterone or estrogen or even blockers until you're 16.
Aren't blockers supposed to prevent the growth in these areas?
Mm-hmm.
What's it preventing at 16?
Yeah, I don't know. But you can't even consider surgery until you're 18. So you who will be able to consider surgery shortly after turning 15.
Yes.
Which, again, in my opinion, is an ideal age because you're still young, the body heals quicker when you're young, there's less scar tissue, there's less muscle mass, there's less everything there.
Yeah.
These kids have to wait until they're 18 inside the country.
Inside
their country. Whether they choose to go out of country to have it done is completely different. However, at this point, their bodies have fully matured. I mean, you're talking about full adult body parts at this point.
Yeah. But that could also be the fact that doing surgery on someone smaller.
All right, so pediatrics, that's what it is.
Could be more risky.
Mm-hmm.
Than doing it on an adult.
Okay.
Even if it's just barely an adult.
Or even worse, an obese adult versus an average weight adult.
Yeah.
Okay, let's face it, I'm an obese adult. So the question is, is surgery more dangerous for you as a child or me as an obese adult?
That is something I do not have the answer to.
Right,
sadly.
and that comes down to medical professionals and the lot. But
Sadly, we don't have contact with those.
no, and the few that we do, I don't know if I'd want their opinion. So the thing that we discuss here is, again, just to kind of recap, is Switzerland, yay. And I would do the little applaud button if Leo would actually not slap my hand.
I would slap your
I
hand.
know.
And I would slap it harder than I did last time.
And Sweden is in the negative. Sweden is kind of boo. They're going a little backwards. So now we talk about surgery here in the United States.
Yeah.
All right. Again, now the protocols for surgery. All right. You have to have a diagnosis of gender dysphoria.
And that means at least 1 year of counseling.
At least 1 year of counseling. You have to have a year of hormone treatment, whether that's blockers, testosterone, estrogen, and that's just for the consultation.
Yeah.
Now we're smack dab in the midst of COVID again, and wherever you are, your doctor's office or your agency may have gone, hey, look, we're only doing necessary surgeries. We're going to push you off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is where I stand with a hysterectomy. And that was one of the surgeries that I wanted to consider. Because it's bottom surgery, but it's not bottom surgery, if that makes any sense. It's one of the multiple bottom surgeries that go on.
I know what a hysterectomy is.
But some people don't.
Okay, true.
Spit all over the mic. That was gross.
I'll do it again.
I know. Then no, don't lick it. Don't lick it. Weirdo. All right. Anyway, my weirdo. I know. I'm responsible for you.
You did how many years of raising? 14?
So far. This is why lion teeth are young.
Stop it.
Okay, so I lost track of thought. What were we saying?
We were talking about surgery and how long the process is.
Right. Well, then we went into the hysterectomy.
Yes, and then we went on to your hysterectomy.
My hysterectomy. And the thing was that the reason why both myself and my specialist, my testosterone specialist or transgender specialist or however you want to discuss him, agreed that this was a good idea was because having a hysterectomy, not a hysterectomy, that a rectory is a church, removed, lessens the risk of cancer. I'm basically, because with the testosterone, and again, if you're pumping testosterone or you're popping. If you're pumping the opposite hormone into your body that your body produces, it basically is almost like a little tiny civil war going on in your body. They're fighting each other.
Oh, that's always great.
Think of the North and the South. Woo, fighting.
We were talking about that in history class today.
Oh, the Civil War?
Yes.
Okay, good. Testosterone and estrogen fighting in your body. God, I hope not. Who's your history teacher?
Now, I'm not allowed to say his name, but you know who it is.
I do know who he is.
You know him.
Good football coach. Anyway.
Bad history teacher. I'm joking.
So the thing of it is that by having the hysterectomy, I'm kind of shutting one side of that war down.
Yeah.
And that reduces the risk of cancer. So again, for the doctor and me, that was all fine and dandy. It made sense. However, for the OBGYN, the woman doctor, because there was actually physically nothing wrong with everything down there, they don't want to pull it out. They won't agree to it. Yes. Whether I'm transgender and plan on, like I said, I'm an adult in my 40s. I've made my babies.
And
I don't need
you're
those
not
parts.
having any
I'm
more.
not having. Oh my God, no! I'd go to jail. For some. Oh wait, never mind.
You already go to jail.
Here we are. But no, that's kind of one of those little roadblocks that we talked about. Here in the United States, there are so many of them. This is one of the ones that I'm currently facing is, again, me and a doctor say, yeah, rip it out. The doctor who's a specialist in transgender, but the specialist in the body parts themselves for the hysterectomy go, nah, leave that there. You don't need to rip it out. It's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary to rip it out, but it is becoming unnecessary to keep inside.
Yeah.
It is actually becoming harmful to keep inside.
Yes.
But it's not unnecessary to rip it out. Doctors.
I know, right? So
why?
I know. So, and again, And the doctors that I've looked at when it came to top and bottom surgery, all of the doctors agree. Don't do a surgery that you don't feel is necessary.
Yeah.
Bottom surgery is excessively complicated. We're talking 6 to 8 hours of surgery, especially for a female to male surgery. I don't know the actual, and I apologize, I cannot remember the osteoplasty, rhino, whatever have you. No, the rhino's the nose.
The rhino's the nose?
Rhinoplasty is a nose surgery.
What?
I don't know.
I'm not asking questions.
Yeah.
We're getting off topic.
I just, the surgery for the bottom surgery.
The down there surgery.
The down there surgery. I know the urethra part of it. That being taking the urethra and basically pushing it through, a created tube or a whatever you're gonna call it, the woohoo part, the pee-pee. God, I wish I knew which words I could use on podcasts or not.
The pee-pee hole for the pee-pee.
That takes it's a very delicate surgery. It takes 6 to 8 hours, and from what I read, and I read this on the University of Massachusetts webpage. It's called UOFM health.org, and it's on transgender treatment and gender confirmation surgery. This surgery, like I said, 6 to 8 hours, and the thread that they use to sew everything up is actually thinner than a human hair.
Really?
I was impressed with that part. I mean, imagine, yeah. So imagine how...
Give me one of your pieces of hair.
No, I like what few I have left, thank you.
Your hair is longer than mine.
But the thing of it is, imagine, a human hair, and your skin is being held together with this, your urethra, where you go piddle.
I definitely think it would feel weird the first couple times.
Well, and then there's a separate surgery for the urethra part. Then there's a surgery for you can only have the twig installed, and then you get the berries installed. Okay, then you have the urethra. Then you have, and then we're talking about sensation.
Yeah.
So it's my understanding that there is skin and muscle pulled either from the forearm, leg, or back to do that.
I've got muscle nowhere. Where is this going to happen?
I don't know. You're SOL. You have no muscle whatsoever. You're like 110 pounds of absolutely nothing.
It's 110 pounds of mac and cheese.
Let me tell you, and I'm completely off topic, but Leo's going to laugh at this. When Leo was little, Leo was so scrawny that if Leo drank something, he could literally swish his belly around and we could hear it on the outside.
You can still do that.
That's gross.
It's funny,
It'd
though.
be like taking a bottle of water and shaking it back and forth, and that was the sound that Leo used to make, and he got a kick out of the fact that he would make it. His teachers used to look at me with the weirdest face when he would make it. But he got a kick out of it. He was like his own little personal sideshow thing.
It kept me entertained.
It did. It kept everybody entertained. But the thing of it is that going back to the surgery itself, it's a very complex surgery. And you know full well that the more complicated something is, the bigger the chances of something going wrong.
Yes.
And
sadly.
I even said it that, as far as bottom surgery goes, I'm not prepared for bottom surgery because it's so complicated. Bottom surgery is relatively new.
Yeah.
And I'm not there. Another deterrent is that most insurances I find don't cover it.
Yeah. And my biggest thing is down there gives me the most dysphoria when I do experience dysphoria.
Okay, so for you, down there is definitely something that you're going to have to save your pennies for because it's something you want.
Mm-hmm. Much more down there than it is up here.
So let me ask, how does a packer work for you?
It has felt very uncomfortable in the underwear.
Has it?
It has.
Okay. It's taking some getting used to. It's like you realize if you get bottom surgery, it's not like it's something you can rip out and, wave over your head down the hallway.
I can try. It might not end well for me.
Woohoo! I'm sorry, how did that sound go before? Not that one.
Oh, I'm not doing the R2-D2 sound. That'll break the mic.
Leo does a fabulous R2 unit sound.
I'll go stand over the other side of the room and do it.
Yeah, go ahead and go do that. You have to hear this sound. It's better than a soundboard. Go ahead, Leo. That's exactly... See?
The dog within me can feel like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Oh my god. So, like I said, bottom surgery is extensive, and it's multiple steps, multiple times, and